Hello everybody and welcome to the DenziBlitz here on the ECS Network. I'm Mike from Electric City Sentai DenziCaster, and today we are looking at part 4 of our 8-part look at Uchuu Keiji Gavan, or if you prefer Space Sheriff Gavan, the original metal hero, the very first of the Space Sheriffs. Today we're looking at episodes 19 through 24. Those would be Jochaku at 6 a.m., The Mysterious Emergency Hospital, The Dancing Prickly Great Pinch, Golden Mask and Younger Sister, The Beauty's Cries, and Mimi's Nightmare. Now, the titles are actually much longer than that. I'm not giving out the full titles anymore because, frankly, Gavan has some really long episode titles. So, but the bottom line here, looking at this batch of 6 episodes, I'm very pleased with these 6 episodes, I must say. Not a whole lot to contribute to the overarching meta plot. The stories that I'm very interested in seeing more of at this point, I'm really wanting to see more of the Hunter-Killer Space Sheriff Voicer storyline, Voicer being Gavan's father. I'm very interested in seeing how they resolve this story and where that goes. I'm interested in seeing what I'm sure will be the ultimate showdown between Hunter-Killer, the renegade Space Sheriff, and Gavan, the son of the Space Sheriff that Voicer may or may not have killed. Where or what is the state of Space Sheriff Voicer? We don't know. So those are things I'm very much looking forward to. If you were putting together your essential Gavan list, and I've been mentioning during these episodes which episodes I think would be, I think, essential to Space Sheriff Gavan, which ones would not be. Ultimately, if all you're wanting is the long game, the meta plot for the whole show, then you can probably skip these 6. But the question is, should you skip these 6 episodes? In my opinion, the answer is no, because there's some really good stuff here. And one episode in particular here that I very much enjoyed, and we'll get to why when we get there. Although I enjoyed pretty much all 6. Let's get some synopses out of the way. Jochaku at 6 a.m. Sees Gavan battling the latest doubler from the Maku, but in the process of doing this, we see his armor get damaged, and so it becomes a race against the clock in what is initially this actually a duel between Gavan and one of the doublers. But the question is, can his armor be repaired in time for him to actually complete the duel, so to speak? The Mysterious Emergency Hospital sees this weird stone that so they believe they refer to it as the Demon Fire asteroid or Demon Fire meteor, that at least in this world is a theoretical reason for the dinosaurs being extinct. But a chunk of that ends up in the hands of a young boy who gets infected by it. Gavan is trying to figure out exactly what in the world is going on with this kid and how to save him. Meanwhile, the Maku actually know what the stone is, and so they are trying to get to the kid to find the larger meteorite. Interesting piece of business there. The dancing prickly great pinch sees this mysterious dancing doctor who can heal anyone simply through dancing. So it's a very interesting sort of shyster snake oil salesman bit, but what is the long-term plan? We find that the Maku are involved in this facility and its money-making schemes. Then you have Golden Mask and Younger Sister, where essentially there is this crime wave across Japan and Europe. Gavan suspects that there is this particular crime lord behind everything, but in the meantime there is this masked Phantom Thief X who has his own plans all the way around with all concerned in this endeavor. The beauty that cries, the beauty's cries that cut through the night sees this strange man in a horse-drawn carriage kidnapping women in the middle of the night. Um, they wind up seeing Kojiro, our comic relief, one of Gavan's best friends, framed for the abductions, and it's up to Gavan and company to basically clear his name and figure out what's actually going on. And then Mimi's nightmare. Mimi winds up having this series of dreams and visions and nightmares in which she sees a doubler kill Gavan. And as it turns out, the monster in her dreams is a reality and actually is going after Gavan. And elements of her dreams start to come true in actual life. So going through this batch of episodes, again, 6 very interesting episodes. Some of the things that I really enjoyed out of these episodes in general. Out of these, I will say Jochaku at 6 a.m. I enjoyed a great deal. The Dancing Prickly Great Pinch, I enjoyed a great deal. Golden Masking Younger Sister, I enjoyed a great deal. The other 3, I think, are fine episodes. Mimi's Nightmare is pretty good, too. So I would probably say those 4 are the 4 I would most recommend if you're picking and choosing your Gavan episodes, if you're not wanting to watch all 44, and you're looking for episodes that can be dropped. I would say these 4 you at least owe a watch. Jochaku at 6 a.m. We do get a little bit out of this batch of episodes, and I think it was in Jochaku, where we do get to see a little more of the, not really any new information, but more of a reminder of Gavan's memories of his father. In the Dancing Prickly Great Pinch, we actually get Machiko Soga. Machiko Soga, who is a renowned genre actress in tokusatsu. She was the main villainess in, I think it was Queen Hedrian, Hedrian in DenziMan, which coincidentally had Kenji Oba, Gavan, in it as DenziBlitz. She came back and reprised that role in Sun Vulcan, which is the sequel to DenziMan, the only time they ever had a direct sequel series in tokusatsu, or Super Sentai history, rather. She would play the main villainess, and I think in a couple of different Metal Hero shows. But the role that we Americans most know her famously for is as Queen Bandora in Zyuranger, which we did here as our very first series of the DenziBlitz. Rita Repulsa, if you're a Power Rangers fan. So seeing a very young Machiko Soga in action playing a very different type of villain was very fun and very interesting. She was chewing scenery throughout. She was the monster of the week, but she just has this presence on screen that when you see her in this villainous role, it's all about her. And just this incredible quality that Machiko Soga had. Golden Mask and the younger sister, really felt like a backdoor pilot. It really kind of felt like they were introducing another hero. I would have been very interested to see Phantom Thief X, or if you wanted to call him the Golden Mask. I would have been very interested to see him with further continuing adventures. In fact, I would, if he shows up again in the series, I'm not going to be shocked, because they really kind of set him up in this not quite Robin Hoodish role, because he's not really giving to the poor. It's basically to take care of his family. But they make him this very sympathetic thief, which is a character that resonates a lot with what we think of today on television, with shows like Leverage and movies like the Ocean's films and things like that. And Mimi's Nightmare, for them to so viscerally show that Gavan can be beaten. The episode has a cold open that legitimately fooled me. I kind of wish they had actually followed the cold open. but it turns out to be just Mimi's dream. But in which we see Gavan. One thing that I will say about this series, and I actually live streamed watching the last episode of this batch on Periscope this past Saturday night. I said on the live stream that if anything, Gavan does not shy away from having its protagonist just have the stuffing beat out of him. That's something that I very much applaud this show for, is letting you see that the hero can be beaten. I actually think that's very important to a hero show, is if you don't know that the hero can lose, or more importantly, if you know the hero can never lose, then there's no dramatic effect. You know that the hero is always going to come out the other side as the winner, or at the very least, not the worse for wear. And so when you have that, it can kind of lessen the stakes in your head, and that's something that's very, very prevalent in Super Sentai and Kamen Rider and whatnot, is they might be in trouble briefly, but they're always going to win. And when you have those episodes that occasionally just remind you, oh wait, there are ways to beat our hero. And it's one of the reasons I really liked Jochaku, the episode 19 here as well, because it's the first time that we actually see a legitimate weakness in Gavan's armor. That there is a way for the doublers to disable his more powerful attacks. And it'll be interesting to see if we remember that later, or if the show just forgets, if it was a one-off thing. I really enjoyed the consistent improvement of effects throughout the show. It's never an evolutionary thing, right? You never have this, or I should say revolutionary. It's never this massive dramatic shift in quality. Instead, it's just this slow evolution of step by step, especially the Maku space scenes, because the composite shots, the limits they begin to push themselves to with some of the effects. In Mimi's Nightmare, when we go to Maku space, there are blades all over the place, different jaws and such of blades, and almost like bladed teeth, because the doubler in that episode focuses on blades as his primary weapon. And once you see them up close, it is very apparent that it's a little more than cardboard wrapped in tinfoil. But the show treats it as real, and that is one thing that I have to compliment shows on a great deal. Doctor Who, famously, in the UK, in the early days of Doctor Who, so like the 60s and 70s and into the 80s, was very good about this, was very good about taking something that seems just chintzy and giving it weight. I mean, if you really stop to think about it, the Daleks are nothing more than upside-down trash cans with plungers and whisks attached to them. They're little more than that. But when you see one of those plungers making its way towards the hero, and you hear the voice, "Exterminate," then the way they treat it and the way that our heroes react to it gives it weight and gives it gravitas. And you see the same thing here in Gavan. Yes, it is a cardboard triangle wrapped in tinfoil, but our hero reacts to it when it strikes him with pain and anguish, as if he has just been sliced by something. So you have to give credit where it's due. Some of the composite shots are just looking brilliant. Some of the matte paintings they have for this show are brilliant. I have to give props there. Some of the shots where they actually will have artwork. I mean, it's obviously a matte painting of the alien spaceships or whatnot, and our heroes are actually fighting on the hull of the spaceship. It's just them standing on the matte painting, composited into it. High definition does it no favors, But if you can allow yourself to kind of drift back and think about how this must have looked on an old TV in 1982, and you can really see how it's just some top-notch work. Our grunts get new costumes. I actually think they got it in the last batch of 6 episodes. I failed to mention it. But the costumes are now even easier to cosplay because now you don't need a leather jacket. They went from having the leather jackets with the black like jeans or cargo pants to now they still have the red jacket, or still have the jacket, or the pants rather, but now they have a black leather vest and a red turtleneck and the same lucha style masks. But still, it's the Gumps du jour, and so it's actually a pretty cool look for them. The stories in each of these episodes I liked. I found them engaging. Perhaps the most interesting thing out of several of these episodes, the Mysterious Emergency Hospital for one, Dancing Prickly Great Pinch, Golden Mask, those episodes in particular, I think we see a lot of it in Beauty's Cries as well. We start to see police work. We actually see Gavan investigating. We see plans. We see our heroes coordinating. When you put the police motif on a show, there is a certain expectation that comes with that. Modern tokusatsu shows like Drive or Kamen Rider Double, or if you're putting more of if you're looking more into Super Sentai, something like Deca Ranger or Time Ranger, where they do have that police or detective motif, you're gonna just naturally, you're looking for something that reminds you periodically beyond simply the name that's what he is. He is, in this case, he is a sheriff. Just instead of being the sheriff of a county, he's the sheriff of a planet. And so getting to see a little bit of research and a little bit of detective work, I really enjoyed. And I feel like, having seen it in these episodes, I almost feel like it was something that was missing from earlier episodes. We didn't see it as much or as clearly. So I'm also very much enjoying that. So all in all, must say, the show is just consistently improving. The action is still fantastic. They're playing with the transformations a little bit now. It's becoming more and more rare to see Gavan simply strike the pose and whatnot and transform up front. Now it's he'll be running to he'll be trying to outrun the monster to get to some device or MacGuffin, and he'll transform in order to get that last minute speed boost to get there, or he'll be falling into something or falling off of something and he'll transform in midair in order to have the armor to break his fall or catch himself or whatnot. They're actually playing with this whole idea that he can transform in 50 milliseconds, and that actually justifies the whole instant replay where Space Sheriff Gavan can transform into his combat suit in a mere 50 milliseconds. Let's see that process again in slow motion. It justifies that. Previously, that felt cheap, to be honest. It's a trope that you love as a fan, but when they first introduce it, it feels very cheap. Now it actually feels worthwhile because he is transforming that quickly. So that is where we are at the moment, folks. We are through 24 episodes of Space Sheriff Gavan. When next we meet, we will be going through episode 29. So that is our next batch of episodes, 25 to 29, to give you guys an idea of exactly which episodes that means we'll be watching. To get ourselves our little preview from the titles, we will be checking out The Suspiciously Flickering Underwater Flower, I Saw the Doll, the true identity of the poison gas killer core. That's going to be 26. 27, The Teachers Are Weird. We've all said that when we were students at one point or another. Episode 28, The Dark Sea of Space. And episode 29, Blitzkrieg Magic Battle. So that is the next batch of episodes we have on tap, 25 through 29. So it's only 5 episodes next go around. I think it's 5 episodes a week from here on out because because we're in sort of the home stretch. There's only 20 left to go. So with that said, hope you guys are enjoying. To answer one question that was actually, it wasn't so much a question, I think, as a request that was posed in a comment to our first video where a gentleman, and I'm actually going to real quick like here try to find that comment now that I'm thinking about it. But one of the questions that came up is whether or not we'll be doing the subsequent Space Sheriff series. To be perfectly honest, you play the devil of a time trying to track down full English fan subs of either Gavan or Scheider. And it has taken a whole lot of doing for me to actually try to track those down. Ruslig, Ruslyg, I hope I said that right, actually posted as a comment to our first video that he would finally, he says, a full deep review of Space Sheriff series in English. He found it very informative. Thank you. We greatly appreciate it, Russ. Gavan and Gavan are my favorite Toku heroes. Recently, I've been rewatching all episodes of Gavan and Gavan with more an adult mind and focusing on a smallest detail other than just the action and hero stuff. That's pretty much what we do here too, Ruslig. So hope you are going to do a review of Gavan and Scheider also. Well, I answered you actually in the comment section, but to make it official here so that everybody knows, I'll be honest, I've been trying to track down Gavan, and I can't find it. I know the entire show is out there subtitled, but unfortunately, I have not found anywhere where I can actually get that entire series and download it to watch it. And of course, we have a standing rule here on the ECS network. When we do seek out fan subs and whatnot, we do not tell people where we find them. That is because whenever an official release of something becomes available, we want everybody to support that official release. Now, there is no such official release in the States for Gavan, Gavan, or Scheider. But who knows? Maybe one day. Shop Factory, you know what to do. But I did actually find all of Scheider. So our next series that we're going to do here on the DenziBlitz is actually going to be from Power Rangers. And very soon you guys are going to be able to pick what Power Rangers series we will watch. That's going to be a poll that's going to go up over on the Facebook page, over at the DenziCaster Facebook page in the not too distant future. I believe it's going to be one of the Neo Saban ones, to be honest. I think it's either going to, so it'll either be Samurai Mega Force or Dino Charge. And when I say those, it's because we're including the Super second seasons in with those. But after we conclude that, we will return to the Metal Hero franchise, and in point of fact, we will return to the Space Sheriffs. So after we're done with Power Rangers in our next series, we are going to watch Space Sheriff Scheider beginning to end. Another show that I've never actually watched all of, but I really am interested in it because the interesting little side note that Eiji Tsuburaya's grandson is Scheider. So the grandfather of Toku Effects, his grandson played one of the Space Sheriffs. For those of you who didn't know, it's Hiroshi Tsuburaya, if I'm not terribly mistaken on his name. So folks, we thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed. If you have enjoyed the video, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the ECS Network. We greatly appreciate it. If you would like to help support the things we do here at the ECS Network and help us out as we try to get new equipment and so on, become one of our patrons, patreon.com/ECS Network, or head over to our Cafe Press store, cafepress.com/ECS Network. Pick up some cool swag, including a Space Sheriff inspired DenziCaster t-shirt that we've got up over there right now. And of course, you'll find us over on Facebook, facebook.com/DenziCaster. We've got some discussions that'll be going up periodically. I'm trying to actually put some conversation starters up there a few times a week. So look very much forward to seeing all you guys there. Until next week, when we move on to part 5 of our look at Space Sheriff Gavan, I'm Mike. We'll see you next time.